Doctor, where do you think all this is headed? And I am told that there is a support group for parents like Bill who are affected here at BCC. And since we're in Virginia this evening, do you have any words of wisdom for parents locally?
Sorry, I'm kind of choking now. I do have some words of wisdom for parents and grandparents who have children in the school system here in Fairfax County. First of all, I think you need to know that the policy, as I alluded to earlier, if your child does claim any sort of gender confusion, the FCPS is taking the liberty to talk with the child and put them on a social transition plan, and they will not notify you unless your child gives that approval. I know for sure that was the policy in 2023, 24, and I believe that that is still the policy now in 24, 25. There's the option to opt out of family life education, commonly called FLE, in the FCPS school system. And that is great. I'm not sure that very many people are diligent to find out what's being taught and are opting their child out. And that is one avenue to protect your child. But on the other hand, they have a little bit of a secret method to continue to indoctrinate the kids. So they'll say that FLE is instruction, but they also do introduction. So introduction could be the librarian reading stories to your kids about gender fluidity and gender nonconformity and planting ideas in their head in that way. And you can't opt out of that because it's not instruction, it's just introduction, and you don't know when it's going to happen. So we have every reason to be very, very careful with our kids. In FCPS and in Prince William County schools, and I don't have any children, they're young enough to be in school at this point, so I had queried a couple of my friends about their experiences, and these are some concerns that I have heard, or some stories that I've heard. In 3rd grade, she came home asking, "Mom, what's a lesbian?" In 4th grade, he was asked in class about homosexuality. Other kids that were 10 years old asked this child, "What do you think about homosexuality?" And when he said he thought it was wrong, not knowing, he's only 10, he's going to answer the question as he has been taught according to what we believe, the way God made us, male and female. He said he thought it was wrong and then began being bullied, and the kids were calling him names and calling him homophobe. Another child came home from 5th grade and said, "Mom, is it possible that I could have been born in the wrong body, that nobody knows that I'm a boy or a girl? No one knows that at birth?" Then in 6th grade, another friend told me that their child came home at the ripe age of 11 and declared, "I'm bisexual, Dad." And they had to sit down and explain to their child about concepts that we really want to protect our children from. We want to protect their innocence. So I just have to say these ideas are being planted in the kids' minds from a very, very, very young age. And we need to immunize our children with the truth. We need to tell them from a very young age and help them to be discerning and tell them, and I hate to say this, but we need to tell them, other people are going to lie to you about things. And you need to understand that Mommy and Daddy, we are telling you the truth. We are telling you who you are as a little boy and as a little girl, and you need to be prepared for other people to lie to you. And isn't that sad for our young children who we want to just keep innocent and keep them somewhat little for so long? So my answer about where is this all headed? I feel that we have every reason to be encouraged. I think that we are poised for a breakthrough, and things are going to shift. We have so much research. The assault on our children's lives, on their ability to have long-term intimate relationships and procreate, all of this has garnered a lot of attention in the past 6 months. In March, the WPATH files were leaked, and we learned a lot of what was going on behind the scenes. In April, Britain released this very comprehensive review of the evidence, and that included 237 studies from 18 countries providing a scientific basis where we can stand here for sure and say these treatments are not helping to relieve the distress of the gender dysphoria that our children are going through. We need to look much more deeply at their psychosocial functioning, their neurocognitive development, and what is going on, because a lot of these children are confused for understandable reasons because of what they're hearing in school and seeing on social media and hearing from their friends. And we need to rely on the psychologists and the counselors to help alleviate the true mental distress, not put some blanket diagnosis of gender dysphoria and tell them, well, changing your body is going to help. No, we need to help them conform their mind to their body. Again, judges are now allowing these lawsuits of detransitioners against their doctors to move forward. And hopefully, as Jay said, we will have some of these doctors held accountable. Some of the gender clinics are closing, like Brandon said, because of the malpractice insurance and because of the whistleblowers. In August, the American Society of Plastic Surgeons became the first major medical organization to break ranks and actually say there is considerable uncertainty as to the long-term efficacy of these surgical interventions for these children that are suffering from gender dysphoria. And the existing evidence base is of very low quality. So the fact that finally a major medical institution broke ranks, that is a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
And on September 24th, just a few days ago, the attorney generals from 22 states issued a fiery letter to the AAP in an effort to hold them accountable for misleading the public and for promoting the use of puberty blockers off-label, citing concerns that the AAP is violating consumer protection laws. But I think most importantly, people here, you are the answer. It's the parents and the grandparents around the US that are now aware of what's occurring behind closed doors at the school systems and in the counseling centers as well sometimes. And we have parents, we have grandparents, we have people rising up and refusing to allow their children to be deceived or to become science experiments. I think with an army of educated parents who know the truth about gender dysphoria and the truth about life-altering treatments, and as we have more and more organizations like Do No Harm, like American College of Pediatricians, like Christian Medical and Dental Association, like the Christian Post, all of these organizations seeking to stand together and rise up, we will defeat this ideology.
Amen.
We will protect our children.
Amen.